So basically, I did a reading for a friend, and she's allowing me to share this with you all. And I thought it'd be a good thing to share. So here we are. Basically, what I'm getting as far as on a national scale right now, Spirit is asking us not to look at this as basically don't fall into the fear mongering. Continue to be positive, continue pressing on. You know, it's becoming a moment where we can no longer really create the cognitive dissonance from what's happening. And there's transformation going on. But because this is happening, it's kind of like a mirror being shown back in our face. And it's kind of a moment where we as people on a national level have to come to terms with what systems we have in place, why we do the things that we do, and like a moment of learning ourselves. You know how we talk about, for instance, when you go to therapy, you go to talk about the things that happened in the past so that when you're moving forward, you're aware. I feel like that's the stage we're in now. We're in a big stage of transformation, but it's only the beginning. So I feel like it's sending us to a place where pressure might have to burst the pipe in order for us to get to a point where we're like, okay, we need to figure this out. How do we end the contracts or the agreements that we used to indulge in? How do we end that and leave that behind and move forward? How do we reform our systems? How do we make change? Like, we're in the moment of being a novice as far as taking action and figuring out how to take action. I feel like once we get to that point and a lot of the public is able to move forward mentally with that, we'll get a lot of drive and a lot of push behind that. So basically, it's bringing us to a point where we have no point. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and we have no other choice but to figure out, how do we move forward? How do we do better? What action do we take next? And it's pushing us into that corner more and more every day. I feel like that's what we're feeling. I feel like we're already in that position. But again, once we get in that position, the drive picks up for us to move forward. And that kind of leads us to finding a new direction where we've been stagnant, where we haven't changed, where we may see more things occurring and happening because we have no choice. We're on fire with gasoline draws right now. We have no choice but to figure out, how do we leave certain things behind and push forward? And I feel like, again, we're only at the beginning of it, but the direction that we are headed is to a good place. So, as sucky as the energy is, as sucky as the energy is and how terrible it feels and how unsure it feels, is for a reason. It's for a reason. So don't bite into the fear mongering. Keep living, keep being positive, keep encouraging yourself and those around you, because that's where we need to go, is up and lifting our vibration and the vibration of those around us. We cannot feed into the fear mongering because it only helps the fire that we're burning in right now. So keep those spirits up, but just know this is a learning phase before the transition happens, and we're only at the beginning. Also, 14 years was significant to me. It might be significant, it might not, but I was hearing 14 years, which feels like we may not really start to see the complete 180 or understand the progress we've made until about 14-ish years. So, hey, we're only at the beginning. Plant your feet.